Recording. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural EFTZA podcast with none other than to my left, right, your left, my right, the Mr. Phenom ZA over here. Introduction, sir.
Yes, good to be here, actually. Awesome to be considered along with you, beautiful mistake. So, let's go.
I call me beautiful.
Short and sweet.
Well, I mean, you have to.
Above me, the man calling himself beautiful is the one and only Lackers.
I don't call myself. He called me beautiful.
It was. Okay, well, the man that has been professed and self-professed and re-professed to be beautiful, Mr. Lackers, give us a short introduction. Who are you? What do you do? What is your life about? We'll come back to you, Phenom, because I think you missed the point, the purpose of that.
I refuse.
So we'll circle back. Are you refusing? Our exclamation daddy in your chat, bro, right now.
Infamous man.
Man's feisty, bro. Man's feisty. But is Latches, everybody. I stream Escape From Tarkov every single day. I literally involve myself with Pain, which is the game, and we love it, every single one of us. And I'm insane. I don't know what to tell you.
And he likes pizza, that much I can tell you.
I love pizza. Pizza is love. Pizza is life. Unless you put pineapple on your pizza. Then
Pineapple belongs on pizza.
No. Is this going to turn from a taco stream to a pizza stream?
Very quickly, perhaps, because the man who makes the best pizza, honestly, here, I can attest to this. Our Brood King, the Krimmel, take it away.
Yeah. No, I definitely like making my pizza and bread. So, Latches, you've had it once at least. But I'm Krim. I generally do esports production as a part-time sort of job with Mr. Wookie here. We've been in the scene for quite a long while. I basically also stream Tarkov when I have power. I'm actually sitting in load shedding right now. So, we got to do what we got to do. But other than that, happy to be here.
So Krimba candlelight. It's more romantic this way, I thought. So we pressed ahead, and now finally back around to Phenom. Give us a proper introduction there, man. Tell us about yourself, clown.
I'm just your friendly neighborhood Twitch streamer that, if it remains that way, we'll see. But I just like to have a good time. Same with Lackers. We're mental for playing Tarkov on the daily. I don't know how we put ourselves through the mental anguish on a daily basis, but
we love
it's now or never to just dive headfirst into a raid. So no, I'm glad to be here, boys. So thanks for having this, Wookie. I think this is a flippin' awesome time to really get something like this started, and I'm flippin' stoked to be a part of it, man. That's it.
No, awesome. Okay, and finally, yours truly, humbly hosting this here podcast with these three lovely gentlemen, is your one Wookie XXXL. I do some tech review stuff. You may have seen here and there, and I've been a gamer since I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and just addicted to FPS. And Tarkov for me is the best rendition of FPS combat right now, really. I think Latches, everybody here will pretty much agree with that sentiment. And so we just have this love, even though it kicks us in the dick, and guys like Gluha and Sani and Killer, just ring us out on a daily basis. We just love to re-gear up and go back in for some more. So we thought it would be cool to put together a little podcast to just discuss some of the issues maybe that are unique to us in South Africa for a change as well. And especially with the people that make a living off of the game, with guys that are full-time streamers. And we've been trying to do a competition. And so far, we've been very unsuccessful in pushing forward with that because things like Stage 6 load shedding exist. And how do you get 20 people in the same place at the same time for even 2 hours? So, yeah, we thought it would be cool to, in the interim, while we are waiting for everything to kind of somewhat settle so we can run a comp. I think even if we're at Stage 1 or Stage 2, we're probably going to have to just go ahead. And then, power and access will be what it will be. But at least that way, it'll be a little bit more fair. But it's difficult. And that's What I've asked each guy to do is just also prepare a sort of talking point for the evening. And so from my side, I actually have two, but I will cop out with the first one being this exact thing. What can like put yourself in criminal's position, right? We've obviously, we busy paying basically for the production and everything on the event, right? We're vouching for the game and for the title that we can make a cool event and do something with it. And well, look at the current state of South Africa. We can feasibly protect ourselves as much as humanly possible. So Crim can even join a podcast in the dark, but can't run a whole production. And what about all the gamers? You can't make sure every single gamer is online. What else could we do differently? To work around the situation.
I guess it's location dependent for everybody. If it's possible, if there's enough interest, and that's like you mentioned, we are forking out the cash for the tournament. If there was, how would you say, enough player base, sponsorship can be looked at where studios would be in like different locations. Something you spoke about previously is like, if we can get a studio up here, we can speak with the guys maybe at 80K for Cape Town. Can actually be on site, have sort of like locales where we can host the boys from when they don't have to bring your own PC and then shoot it from there. That's like one thing we've spoken about that's like a possibility, but it's difficult, man, with the power being out this much.
Because there's nothing in JHB right now that could facilitate the way 80K can. But 80K it's a shining sort of gem in the city of Cape Town. Have you actually been there, Fino?
Wookie, I have not been places, to be honest. So for me, it's really a new atmosphere from the sports world. My previous life, I tried to be a professional cricketer, made it club level Premier League team, Alberton, and so I'm more of a sportsman when it comes to that. And so gaming since small, PlayStation 1 days, and being very young and loving games and growing up playing them, led me to always want to entertain people, and which is where it's gotten me where I am today. And luckily, the amazing people I've met along the way, the incredible community that I've lucky enough to be a part of and create. And I met the likes of you guys. You guys have been doing this for years. I know we've been doing it since we're small, but such as myself, I deviated off that path and I try to focus more on the sports, and that ended up not going where I wanted it to go, and fell in love back with being able to just play games to sort of, come from work and you're tired and you just want to like unwind a little bit. So you jump into a game or two, and that ended up becoming Tarkov. And, almost 8,000 hours later, I'm on 7,800 plus hours of pure and unadulterated ownage is what Tarkov's been doing to us. Yeah. It's, in that sense, it's really, I'm trying to learn from you, Crim, you, Wookie, the guys that have been in the industry that still, you guys have done streamer events, stuff like that, where you actually on stage interacting with people. You know what I mean? So I'm just sitting in, taking it all in. So, yeah.
I've seen Wookie live on that stage.
I know.
He really captivates the audience with his presence. It's amazing.
I just like having a microphone. That's all the mic. It's not me. It's the mic does the work, dude. And I practice that voice just enough, that announcer guy sort of like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Like you got a certain cadence that you got to hit. Yeah, it's actually a thing. It's actually a skill.
In the shower, do you stand in the shower?
No. I only do it when I get the mic, because each like PA system is different, so you get used to it. Like you listen. So I listened to myself before, and then I'm like, okay, this is where I need to speak for like this sort of system or whatever. So yeah, that's
makes sense.
Yeah, no, I was exposed like more than a decade ago to like very high level production environments. So I got to see it and do some crazy stuff. I was very lucky there. But okay, so Next, we shall have Mr. Well, basically, the answer to our question was, if we can get a LAN center in Joburg that's the same as ATK, then I think we could actually do events like that where we have a weekend, like on a Saturday, where guys go and play from ATK, and we have people playing in a dedicated area from Johannesburg. It is an idea that would be great for the esports environments in general. But if we had that, we could do that for Tarkov events, obviously, as well. So I think that is probably our best bet, right? Like, there's nothing else.
I don't see any other option when it comes to planning around stage 6 load shedding.
Yeah, unless you're dedicated power. Like,
definitely not.
Especially if you wanna, if we're looking at getting a couple of people together and we want to host the tournament, I think honestly to get everybody together in that environment would be the easiest, because look at how difficult it was to set up 4 of us this evening. Yeah. Just so that we can, and one of us is out, and I'm out in another hour and 15. So we're lucky enough to.
Now we got a nice little win there. So,
boys? I've got somebody asking what's ATK, especially for myself. That's not. I'm also not familiar. Can you just explain to me?
So ATK Arena is a project that billionaire investor Warren Barkhuizen basically created, where he just dropped like 5 bar on a center that's basically 50 PCs end to end, gym, kind of like a whole complex kind of setup with power and everything online. So quite a significant sort of setup and investment into the community with no real. He knew there wasn't going to be any real return. He's just kind of doing it to do it, just to passion, and because of his lighties as well. He's got 2 boykies that are really into gaming and stuff as well. So it's very sweet. It's like a whole family.
It's awesome.
That's a super dad.
Right? No, it is a super. He's laying the foundation so that his kids will have other people to play with as well, that actually get to have exposure so you can go and play there. What I've always loved about that, and especially something that's so high end like that, is you can always go and play there and then not have to buy your own PC, and you can get the experience at least somewhat before you go and invest into it and know, this is something I really want to do. That's basically ATK. That's why ATK is like a top
honestly
G,
the old adage hits. The old adage hits where you just let your kids be. Like, get them into computers at an early age so they never have enough time or money for drunk
anything else. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's smart.
100%.
Good thinking. Yeah.
You're going to be a great dad. Always.
Okay. Guys, let's move along. Latches, here's with your burning question. What is your burning question regarding Tarkov and Tarkov South Africa right now?
A burning question. So BSG and the game has been literally a part of my stream for 2 years now. I literally built it off of, I built my stream off of Tarkov in general. So when it comes to BSG, and it's been very mysterious to me, is that I wonder what their vision for the game is going to be like, because it's constantly changing all the time, and they haven't really exactly been clear. They have said something about the game being interconnected on all the maps, and you have to go through every single map and stuff, but I'm kind of wondering how that will even work, and how we will survive when we struggle to just get out of one map.
So, okay, I actually have a very clear answer to this, but let's take Crims. Do you want to start on that?
Yes. Okay, so regarding all the maps being together, on Unity, no, like just.
From a programming aspect, it's just a nightmare.
even with their claimed performance upgrades, where they've shown us in the last update, where it's no instant, apparently instant load-ins, instant.
No, forget about it. There's no chance, man.
Forget about it.
What I think will happen.
Could direct storage API introduction actually solve that? Just something that I just.
There's a chance.
Is it?
There's a chance, yeah.
Okay.
Slight, but It's
But you still need NVMe, basically.
I think I think the
Have mega
amount of
PC or get
issues-
wrecked, pleb, basically.
So just what we all know with Hitridge and like the syncy issues, imagine a big map and people being loaded in and you playing through somebody that's already in and has been in on the map and you're like crossing his path. I just don't see that syncing up. I just don't see them carrying that up. So
I honestly think that their
They'll have to
Streets
do it,
idea with the amount of players on that large map that's supposed to be 4 times larger than what we have now, I think that whole thing is a giant test to see how it will handle in the long run with
60
everything.
players at one point in time. And I mean, I'm trying to understand that because Nikita explicitly confirmed that he said this is along with all the scavs and the whatever that's going on. So how would you have 60? And he I don't know if he was joking about it. I know he sometimes gets carried away, but he almost insinuated
Sometimes.
that it was on factory it's
No.
got 60 players on factory.
You see, comrade,
You
all he
know?
does is he goes and he loots a small nuclear submarine. And then he uses that as a power core for the server to run all of these activities off of. Okay. It's as simple as that. It's very cut and dry. No, it's
we can't
No,
say
but
never, right? We can't
his
say
vision-
never.
his vision for the game is unchanged though. Okay. Just to go into like how the structure of the game is and stuff, like beyond the technical difficulties, okay, which we know are numerous, and it's like, I think more than it. Do you think? Okay, before we move on from that, what engine do you think could save that and make it possible?
Unreal, 100%.
Unreal 5.
Unreal.
We just done
Yeah,
it.
5.
Okay.
Yeah, 5. Not even 4, 5.
Straight
To
5.
To get
yeah.
into it big time, like how would that work in terms of getting the entire
They can port
written?
it. There's capability to
Okay.
port it, and the issue is the way my understanding, the way they written the old maps, and that's the big problem. So, like for example, you always know DOMs really well. Like, so if you on
back
like
to
the
back.
stairs, if you know the stairs.
Been there
Like you have
once
to
or twice.
think about like each channel is like separated sound bars. So the way they decoded the audio versus the actual layers, like they have any faults in the old code to just port it. If they've done all the hard work back then, it would have been an easier port in my opinion. But it's complex because they've patched it so many times, and like we start a wipe and then audio's perfect, binaural's on, and everybody's happy, and then it just takes a little bit of a dive, like one little update later, then everything's just splat again, and it's too wonky. So I don't know if that's the reason why, because like there's the similarity between the audio and like the actual code and the video and the way they've done that. So
Maybe
Yeah.
they have faith in the new Unity updates.
I
The
just
new Unity
don't
engine.
see Unity. Like why go Unreal? For me is number one, we will shift away from RAM and CPU. Number one, it will actually
Yeah.
be a GPU game again, and your performance and your frames and your hit rate and everything will just be much better. But
Much better.
nonetheless, like
Because
Yeah.
I play an Unreal 5 game that was the very first on the engine, which was MechWarrior 5, which was one of like the first 3 games out. And I've modded it to snot, and I get fantastic FPS. And the amount of plume and stuff that I can host, those maps are like 5 kilometer, sort of by 5, say 5 by 3, 5 by 4 kind of maps.
Sounds
So
huge.
they're also big.
Massive.
Yeah, they're massive. And it's fluid, dude. With all the fidelity, variety, and everything else you can expect, from it's. I'd say, look, the fidelity of Tarkov is something that's really nice about it. I think that we all really like about it as well,
Yeah.
right? It's just how it looks,
we
and it's
like
going to
how
be
it
a
looks.
little bit difficult to get that same feel in Unreal. I think. I genuinely think the feel of Tarkov is going to be difficult to replicate. Between the engines, because Unity has like a way about it, though. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. But so as far as the structure of the game goes, though, it's he wants to do Stalker, dude. It's exactly what he wants to do. Stalker Call of Pripyat kind of style. They're flowing maps, zones through each other like that. The AI, the way it works. I mean, dude, the AI in Stalker is actually rough. Okay, I know where the idea of raiders came from. Okay, there are the dudes from Monolith and stuff, like from the groups, and they are rough. They
make me want to play Stalker.
I just replayed it quite recently, and it was a really good experience to redo it. I can double recommend if you want to do it. Get Gamma though. It's a much better rendition of it. If you guys haven't seen Stalker Gamma, is absolutely amazing mod. But yeah, that's basically all he wants to do, dude. Like as far as that sort of goes, and it's a good plan. Here's the thing: like the model and the setup we know is good because Stalker is such a good game as well. So I like it, and that you have to go to where the traders are and stuff, and like I really, really like that. If you think about it as well, what you would walk around with normally in Stalker is you like have your 2 guns and a couple of like bits of armor and that sort of stuff. The weight in that was way more intense than what we face in Tarkov. So I think he was also, with the weight, hilariously, I think he was actually trying to emulate that, and it just got a bit extreme. So,
yeah. Then he started turning back.
Yeah, you can't give us something and we feel like we're flying, like, you know.
100 kilo, dude.
Dude, you remember the map?
Do you remember streamers taking in thick containers and filling them up and then walking out?
Dude,
I was one
literally I saw a video of a guy pulling out like 800 kilos.
Yeah, I was just walking it off.
It's like,
okay, very, very realistic.
That was a very old labs. Remember that
Yeah.
stuff? Used to get a
do,
big ass bag and then stick another bag in that bag after fighting like 50 raiders, taking
exactly.
every single bit of their loot.
nothing got left.
Look, I would come
No
back to your point there, Latch. The look and feel of the game has changed over just the last year since the introduction of the inertia. Let's be honest. Since inertia, everybody flipped.
Yeah.
Okay, the game completely changed. I have friends that stopped playing because of it. You know, the game lost people because of it. But I feel it's always meant to have been the game. It was always meant to be in the game. The same way where, not to going, but my point on that whole thing and my whole question for three of you are, it is vaulting. What are your thoughts? Because I've been asking for this for so long. I've been expecting this to be on for so long.
It's gonna be buggy. No. It's gonna be buggy too. And I'm gonna get stuck like right like this, go over, and then my gun will be out here, bro. And that's me until I reconnect. Do you know what I mean? It's the only thing. That's the only thing. It would be nice.
Just shoot you while you're in the movement. That's all.
Dude, but that's what's gonna happen. It would be nice, but that's what's gonna happen.
Okay. Boys, I have to make one point about that inertia. Okay, so you know when you're walking and there's like just this little stump, you can't even see it, man, but your foot just hits that thing,
and it gets
and
stuck.
like you can't just
the ankle high blocks.
You can't just do this. You're gonna vault over that boy. You're gonna imagine it's gonna happen. It's an obstacle. It blocks.
No, but they actually improved that. I found on the go-kart track going through interchange. They actually improved that hilariously. It was something I was also having a good whinge at, but they actually fixed a lot of it. To be honest.
Here's your gun on those rails on interchange. You look like this when you go over them.
on top of that, though,
no, man, just the little tires. No, the tires are low.
I get you. I'm talking about the rails.
Yeah.
Specifically,
no, they are. The rails are gonna bug. The rails are gonna bug for sure.
Yeah, it's something that I've realized with that little go-kart section is the more strength and the juicier you are in level and everything, you run over it easier. When you are a pleb, when we are level 1 and 2 and our strength and everything is like non-existent, that's when we run into it and you're like, can't I even run over a tire? That's how I feel it.
That's how fast you run.
Level 1 PMCs are very level like 1 PMCs.
I really don't want big obstacles. I think that'll be okay. I'm very concerned about what gets us stuck right now. These small little things.
If
Also,
they
do
get
you think it's
vaulting,
going to be
though,
like big?
if they get vaulting to work, and it will be buggy, don't get me wrong, but there's a reason why this game is a beta still. It is a beta. People seem to forget a lot about that. But
beta with this much content to go, okay. So we'll call it a potato. Okay, carry on.
but if they get that to work, it'll be a huge game changer because there's a lot of things that people abuse in terms of incredibly high jumps and stuff that low level players can't do and stuff. And vaulting, I think, it'll just help, especially the lower level players, so much more. So maybe little Timmy man needs to take 5 seconds to get over that wall.
That's good.
But he can do it.
I believe if vaulting works, the experience and where we fight and where we like meet up in the game to fight each other will be completely different. Us getting to points where we hear shots, it's going to change. Like
it's going to change interchange forever.
If you had to be quick now, after you've killed like a 3-man and you have to loot, you have to really think about how quickly you have to get stuff done now. It's going to change the tempo of the game so much.
I think it's going to change interchange completely to the point where, I think the guys are going to be able to get onto the roof. They'll have to take away some boxes so that you can't vault onto them.
Yes.
Or make walls so you can't vault onto them.
No, here's the thing is, I think they should open up more. I think that you should be able to go into the roof. Just make the lip of the roof so large that it's like difficult to use. I don't think you should cut off anything. Just make it difficult to use. Like attach skill cap to the mechanic, whatever the mechanic is. Like
knowing Nikita,
because he's gonna have to. Here's the thing: he's gonna have to as well at some point, right? Like because he wants to make the most realistic sort of experience, and that was kind of the beauty of one of the beauty things of Stalker is if you saw anything in the map, you could feasibly get there in some way or another. So if you like saw a high-rise building, you could go right to the top and go into the roof. But it wasn't an inherent advantage because the bots were like raiders. So you peeked over there, just instantly smashed, dude. It's, you know what I mean? So it's like getting that balance right that I think that Nikita kind of needs to work on. The thing is, the complexity on the size of his game and his areas are obviously much better. And that's like BSG's, I think we can all agree, best thing is their map design is amazing. Like it's absolutely
the level
incredible.
of detail, dude.
Yeah.
Just not talk about Woods because that's the worst map in the whole.
Only because the new section, Old Woods was the gangster click, dude.
I
it was
loved
the best.
Old Woods.
It was the most fun, dude. You were forced to fight around the middle there, dude. It was so fun, dude. That was the crescent moon of death.
You couldn't avoid players on the old.
Yeah,
you
had to.
You had to go past them.
You had
in order to get to your extracts.
And it was like
on the
cool,
old
like boom, and then you boom. That's Woods, dude.
You had
it's like
to
fun.
flank
that
so
little
hard,
creepy
bro.
little walker.
Yeah, dude, like. And then you with the dude, obviously, especially bro, we all came from the period where Mosins were one tap level 4.
I remember those days.
Brummets and PU 3.5s, bro. And you do the lean and you just
back then.
Oh, dude,
when that was a one shot, Punisher Part 6 with the SVD was the most fun freaking quest of my life. Dude.
Yeah, it was a good
love
quest.
going customs with that gun and just running at people. Oh, look, there's a guy. Bah! Oh, he's dead.
Dude, yeah.
in the chest.
It was a bit
It's
mental.
broken though. It was very broken.
That's
the game's
when
in
I
a
was
better
mainly
place.
playing AKs.
The-
Well, on that note, what do you think of the AI, boys? What's your current take on the state of the AI? I mean, I've been getting some.
Is this your burning question?
I
My
don't
burning
like-
question was vaulting, but I mean, okay, what
Is
is
your burning question vaulting? Okay, you can throw another one because we that's a good question.
at the moment, boys? I've just
I-
been feeling the last couple of days the AI has been bittering.
I've been tapped by AI quite a few times, but I think what I don't like is the fact that Timmy Scav with like a beanie takes my 308 M80 to the face and just walks it
This
off.
only happens to you, by the way. So
No, it
No, it
doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Sorry.
I very rarely have this issue, especially with 308. So yeah.
I shot a scav with a 338 Lapua with FMJs in the face, and he just goes, "Huh?"
It's easy.
Just another day.
I was like, "Okay."
Akita builds them differently, boys.
Add brain
Come on.
rot in that area, bro. It's fine.
I don't know if that has to do with the hit reg on AI or the variable health pool that Nikita implemented on the AI, because an AI, a little scav, can literally be walking around with Tegila level HP, literally, and that confused me a bit. I understand he implemented that in order to make the AI a bit more difficult, because we used to run through the AI a lot, right? It was kind of just, they were just there as we got to the players. But it didn't really do anything. We still run through them. It's just now we're like, okay, just take more bullets, and then we carry on going. It added a sense of inconsistency when it came to shooting just the AI in this game versus the players. I don't think the variable health pool was a good idea. I think he could have just balanced them a bit better to like take cover and not walk around in the open like a chop. But I do think the variable HP was just a bit of an error.
Piling on top of that, though, is I've been finding they've also they walk and I mean I'm sure you'll agree with me. They walk and engage you at the most insane level. Like they just lock on while walking. You can't get onto them. You peek, right hand peek, and you on them. You try. Not only is the aim punch quite significant when they hit you, that you can't be on target, but it also feels like they just move and it just stays on you. So wherever they move, it remains on you, and they can instantly engage when you come out of cover. I died to that in labs today.
So there is an aim block on them for about 10 seconds. I think you got to break their line of sight for a while, and you can see when this happens by like they don't have it until they shoot at you, first of all. And you could literally be going behind full-on hedges and stuff, and they'll still track you and follow you through that. You have to break complete line of sight for a good 10 seconds. So like if you peek from one of the doorways leading outside on streets in the office building, you shoot and he shoots at you, and you immediately run back and go to the left and peek them from another angle. Within 5 seconds, they will be already aiming at you and locking onto you. So that was a design choice, I think, by Nikita to make them a bit more difficult.
I just find that it happens too often. Lighthouse is my map. I run scavs there on the daily. I find too many times where building one engages you or engages me through the fucking container. He engages me through the container. Like he can't see me, but he engages through the container. He shoots the container.
I have that with
when
the
I am
goons.
not in cover. I am. You don't even know
We've
where I
had that
am.
twice with Big Pipe, dude. He'll see you. You go to the other side of construction. Homie is in front of fort, still laser beaming at you. And you're like,
Laser beaming you. That's something that really gets
bug,
me.
though. I think that's a bug.
dude, that's a crazy bit. But I think so. The thing is, I think there's a bit of too much of a gap between some stuff is too OP, like rogues locking onto you from 200 meters away with a dog shit gun and absolutely beaming you is a bit stupid. Okay.
Oh, if you're a bad life.
And you get to him and the homie's got a Mark 16 with an iron sight, dude, and it's like he's got 1 mil worth of space. Bear boys, let's go. But he's beaming you with this thing, with this piece of cuck gun.
Maybe a good design would be that depending. Okay, show and tell, guys. Okay.
Okay.
We get it. You're cool.
We get it. Jeez.
I think a good design with scavs and
Let me get some
rogues
Tarkov
and
clips.
stuff is that after a certain distance they'll stop laser beaming and they'll start tapping their gun. Maybe.
I think after 100 meters they shouldn't hit more than a 3-shot burst, dude. If
My
I'm
my,
being real.
my worst example of that lock on is on Hill 1 on customs when that sniper scav locks onto you and you in between two people and you fighting there and that guy just keeps on like, wow, like the trees. I can't see you through the trees, but he has
Dude,
one
he shoots behind you
through
when you're
the trees.
behind 2-story.
I have a clip of that same one. I have a clip of that same
Fucking
bastard just shooting me out of buttfuck nowhere. He doesn't hit me because he hits the trees, but he shoots me through the every time.
talking about
ridiculous.
Tarkov pain with the freaking sniper scavs. I'm still not over this, okay? People in my chat would like to see it. But 1 month ago, when they first introduced that exploit that they had with the M4, where you could put the jailbreak and the suppressor on,
Yes.
I built that for the first time.
Before.
Like, yeah, 21 recoil. I put 995s in a 60 round mag. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I load into customs. I go out of New Gas, out the front of New Gas, and I'll start running towards the roads, and I'll just die. I'm like, what the hell? Sniper scav just one tap me in the face. First shot, dude, whilst I was mid-air jumping.
It's like I gotta get that done, man.
That's the talk of life. That's called pain, people.
Yeah. it's just
That
another
is.
day.
I like.
What's the
stared at
lowest
my
you got that
screen.
M4 down to? What's the lowest?
I think it was 21. I think that was the lowest I got.
I still have one in my stash. 18 vertical recoil, 50 horizontal recoil, and I still have a 60 rounder in it with like 37 ergos.
Don't ever use it. Keep it in your stash until
Yeah,
end of
yeah.
life.
It's there. No, it's there. It's
Use it.
18. 18 vert, 50 horizontal.
I got another one somehow, so I ran it the other day, and yeah, from the hip, that thing is just it's kind of uncalled for, if we're being honest. But what is called for now is Crim's burning question. Crim, what have you got for us?
I'm gonna push some buttons with this one, but yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
here we go.
Okay.
This one's
Okay.
kinky.
Have we been avoiding the question, boys?
Dum,
Yes.
dum, dum.
Give us the question.
Local versus international. Here we
Oh,
go.
here we go.
boys. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Phenom, I just see Phenom's beard is standing up.
He gets right up in there.
Okay. So
I
okay,
can't believe
my point around this is okay. This is for you two, gents. Like I stream, boys, when I can. Like you guys saw like what my load shedding looks like. I can't stream, boys. Like I don't have time to stream because I don't have
That's
power.
kind of bullshit.
But it's for you two. Like I understand, you want to keep the boys locally if you can and play locally if you can. But you two are content creators. So how? It's a big question. It's like to be entertaining when the content's not there. It's rough for you boys. Like there's peak times, there's low times. It's not a fun thing to speak about. Listen, if we had wipe day service every day, of course I'll say, listen, okay, local is lekker. Let's stay here. We'll play here. But I feel it's hard, and I know both of you gents have tried overseas. It's a bit more rough on the ping, but you do get to make content with it, and it is for me as somebody like I can't watch a farm simulator. It's rough for me. I want to see you boys engage stuff. I want to see you like have that PvP experience. It's why I say I think there's like two different levels to this. It's the content creators versus you could say serious players. Like I get if you're a serious player, cool, stay local, no problem. But if you're a content creator, I think like that's the pass. Like I have to go to that server. Like that's my feeling around it. But your opinions, please.
Please go right ahead.
When I'm dodging the bullet, he's like, nah.
The SA server right now is in quite a bit of a pickle in the moment. Okay, so our local server, don't get me wrong, it's good, and I would love to find more players because this game on low ping is just something else, especially when it comes to fighting other players. It is just no other game can touch this game in terms of PvP. All right, and that's just like I've played a lot of FPS games, and this is one of them that I will come back to every single time for the PvP. I used to play the SS server like all the time, and I was there trying to get everybody to go and play the SA server whenever they can. I used to do that for the last 3 wipes. I was like adamant on the SA server. But currently now in the current state of South Africa, it's a bit of an issue with stage 6 load shedding affecting the player base and just our relatively small player base in general. The SA server during the day is unfortunately incredibly empty, and it also makes it incredibly hard for content creators like myself to do what we do, make content, in terms of YouTube videos and TikTok compilations and stuff. It's incredibly hard to do that because we'll have like maybe one good PvP encounter if we're on the SA server in like 5 hours, depending on the map. So like labs and factory on the SA server is currently kind of popping. I'm not gonna lie. But again, that comes down to international boys coming over to our server. How many, Mr. Phenom, how many South Africans do you run into on our server during the day?
Well, you can answer those canonically, so you can answer Crims first and then Latches afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start. It is a good way of. I love that you mentioned it, Crim. I really do. It's a valid point. It's a very, very important point. Being one of the local boys and being a content creator that daily, every day plays SA, like religiously almost. Like I know I take the piss out of people, but I, for the most part, give people, take the piss out of people that go play on EU or Singer or wherever they get a chance to, because I always joke and say, just come play on SA. If you were just here, we would have more players. And you can, I don't know how people are going to feel about this, honestly. You can make up an excuse in your head right now why you don't want to play SA. There's always an excuse to be made. No, it's too underpopulated. No, it's this. No, it's that. Got nothing to do with it. Honestly, in my honest opinion, you can make content, you can make videos, you can make compilations, you can run into PvP, you can do everything except. Here's the kicker. You can do everything except go for Kappa, unless you are willing to take longer with your quests, with your PvP kills, with your player PMC kills, or you put in more time, like when you, like myself and Latch, where we get to do this on a daily for 6, 8, 12 hours a day, do 24-hour streams if we can, So honestly, I get your guys saying that you can't make content, but honestly, I feel you can. I have been. And it's just a question of, then you look into the micromanagement of those. What time are you playing? What map are you playing? Are you running with teams? I find running with one guy in my team, all of a sudden I spawn in with more team. When I'm solo, I run into very few people. But that's just something that I personally picked up.
No,
Tell me that's not.
Experienced that. I've actually experienced.
Please. Right? I thought I was the only one.
Experience. When I'm solo, I run into more players than when I'm with the team.
Okay, but this is just local that we're speaking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about local. Yeah, okay. But with that being said, dipping my toe into the EU a little bit, where I got a chance to just test the waters a little bit after it was yanked away from us, where I was able to, from Cape Town, where I am, being able to play EU server, London only. Now we get EU West, North, and whatever the case may be, Central, where I can't without exit lag. I can't connect without that. When I do connect, I get mostly not only the desync, I get mega desync on EU servers, and I always find that the peakers advantage is with them. Yeah, they have the smoother gameplay, they have the easier way of killing. If you can't hold, you've got a chance of dying first.
You just can't hold an angle on EU. You just can't. Like that I'll give to you. I just, to add fuel to the fire, how long have you been playing Tarkov live, like on stream, in total?
For the last 2 years, since I started, from the 1st of February 2021. Yeah. So it's now says, 2 years.
Since I started streaming, 2 years. Freedom and I.
So 2 years.
I think I started streaming about like 3 months or 4 months before Mr. Freedom, I think.
Is it? Eh?
That's
So we
so
like
Yo,
close
that's
together.
insane. That's kind of sick. But then Scav has been going live since like first wipe. Okay, on the game. Okay, and Scav really was our kind of torchbearer. He actually got, people to bring emissaries and look at South Africa and created the initial groups and Discord and everything that we use in the community. He started ultimately at the end of the day with a lot of help from Stu, as we know, but he started
Mr.
them.
Stu.
Okay?
Big shout out.
Shout out to Mr. Stu. Stu actually owns Scav's Twitch channel. That's how bad
Literally.
Undercover, not even a cap. That's how bad Undercover is with tech. But he had the drive and he really loved the game, and he's played since the first wipe, since it was just factory. I mean, that was all that they had back then.
They call it
when
big
they started.
map and small map, yeah.
So here's a couple of things, right? Here's two kind of arguments that I want to bring. One is I genuinely think, having played with him, that there's a lot of Q sniping and dodging that can happen within the South African server environment, right? We ran into the same 3-man 5 times in a row. After we dullered them 3 times in a row, they got tired of trying to run at us because we were
on different maps.
We were typing in the chat to each other in Discord like, "Oh, they're coming." And then we set them up. We went to dorms, which is our best and most comfortable area, and just kept running at them there and winning the fight. And it eventually just became more and more one-sided because we knew they were coming, trying to run at us. And you got to work around these kinds of things, unfortunately, that happen. And I think Q dodging is a thing that happens as well, where people just don't want to play against certain streamers because they feel their skill cap is too high for them to deal with. And that's the type of stream sniping in of itself. And I genuinely think it's something that is happening in the South African community, as like, I just think it is something that is happening, is one. And two, if you're looking at it from a midday, if you go live at 12 o'clock, the player base in South Africa, you're maybe going to run into 2 or 3 people. We have raids of like where we get 7 kills, 8 kills, where we have 10 player fights in a certain area on a map, where we haven't had that experience at any point in any wipe. We've had fights on other servers and they just
the only time
are
it's
run
like that
differently.
is when it's early wipe. So when we start out and then
Even in
SA's
early
booming
wipe, it's
because
not even
everybody-
the same. It's not even the same because the South Africa player base likes to hit and run, which is a very effective playstyle. It's not a bad thing, but it's a unique playstyle. Whereas we found, like, particularly in Singapore, those homies are gigachat. Okay, they all W key through the keyboard, like going.
I
as
can't
hard
talk for
as-
that. So now you guys have told me how much they just it's
Dude,
almost where you find so many
They don't
people
care.
that it's a
Just
mixture
don't
of
care.
that
No, they don't care.
you run into somebody that just he's focused on his thing and he's not even thinking about you sideswiping him because there's so many people on the raid.
So let's put it like
Okay.
this. EU's a very mixed bag. You'll get both guys that play slow and you'll get your odd gigachat here and there. And then you'll get, usually if they are gigachats, they roll in groups of 2 or 3. They're pretty well coordinated and it'll be a tough fight and you'll get your shit fucked up if you're sleeping, kind of thing. It's
With
like
that
what
being
you'll find.
said though, and SA people, and I'm not trying to call any SA players out. It is just to the point where I brazenly throw my raid away. I throw my life away like a moron. I run and gun like an idiot when I shouldn't be. It's just how I play. Not everybody plays like that, but I find that we've got a lot more calculated players. You know what I did there?
Very strategic.
So
Yes.
we've
we
got more
We don't like to
calculated
lose.
players.
We don't
No.
like to lose. Yeah.
No, we don't like to.
We don't just
That's for
have
sure.
guys that run at you and a classic.
No, but if
classic
someone
fight
doesn't,
with
even if someone's holding an area and they don't know you coming, you have a window of opportunity. Like for instance, we would use our movement to run and like jump across a doorway as an example. So as a prime example, we don't like going Dubai because we continuously found oaks with contact nades, with grenade launchers, chilling in Violet, waiting at the door, dude.
It's a very different experience.
They literally just chill in there like this. Every third raid, you see that door with some blood there, and you're just like, he's coming, he's coming. The claw is here, dude. We heard that one guy cross the map, boom, and we were just like,
Was that
Bruh.
the GL?
That was the
Dubai?
GL. Yes, that was Dubai.
Mr. Freedom Dude was so funny from my perspective, bro. We were hearing a GL, that classical thunk, and sound. There we go.
And your heart sinks,
violent
dude.
side,
And your
dude.
heart sinks the minute you hear it.
We were like, oh shit. But then we were like, let's go. So we started running towards and we couldn't find him at all. We're like, what's going on here? What's going on? And I'm by the button side. Parking button side, and I see Mr. Wookie start running towards Violet, and he opens this door, dude, and he runs across, and then he runs across again, and he just bonk, and he just flops over, bro.
Hits me right in the legs, dude. Just that's me. Just have a good day.
I couldn't stop laughing, dude.
I just right before coming.
Natch netted him out, which was the feels good part, but it's so
nice.
Yeah, it's so like the thing is, even that there's just a lot more activity. When we have wipe, our servers are good as far as activity goes. Guys are playing like fast and stuff, like through the maps, which is not. I like to play like that as well. I don't like to sit still, so I'm down with that, bro. That's cool. That's like, but then at some point it becomes about the stash, I feel. And then the whole server just sort of, especially when RD and BP was last wipe, basically. RD, BP, and I just checked this Vulcan with that all come out of a bush. Like this. And stared me. And I've been running around the map for 30 minutes. I've killed the boss. I've killed the players. I've emptied the thing. Blah, blah, blah. Homie's been there from his spawn. He spawned on that side. I'm running to Rolf, and he's chilling there in the bush by the extract. Bro, I don't want to play against that. I don't want to play that, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to come to the loot spots and fight with me. You know what I mean? Like, let's make it fun. Like, I'm running around. Hey, I'm over here. I don't exactly hide my presence. You know what I mean?
Quick one for you, or just because of we're talking about the local and int. Who started on EU? That's the big question. I started on EU.
We started on EU when that was the only servers that we had.
I had one full wipe on EU, and then halfway into the next wipe, like we all basically started at the same time, it seems.
Yeah.
Halfway into the next wipe, we got an SA server. And my thing is, okay, from my perspective, like I remember spawning interchange EU. And you would fight 2 times before you would get into that mall. And that has like happened like now since we got like the little Singer or EU West up and running. Only happened like once or twice when you like we had one fight. But like that drastically changed because I had a friend, Deathwind, that I always played with in London.
I remember him.
Yeah. And we had the craziest freaking fights on interchange. It was just like gunshots non-stop. The map was not silent, and this is the biggest thing.
Used to pop like that.
And this is my thing. Like even on wipe day for SA, I feel that noise level is a bit more cautious.
I would agree with that.
But
Just
to
a
be
bit
fair,
more,
to be fair, interchange back then was a whole different ball game. A whole different ball game. Every single tech store had a GPU.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why everybody.
And there was a LEDX in the bedroom as well.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? They still have GPUs every time.
No
I go,
ways,
I get
bro.
GPUs.
Yeah, okay, Crim
I'm
doesn't
not a
count,
CPU
dude.
fan,
You've got
dude.
cheats. No, yeah, that's CPU fan. You lucky. I get caps, man. You
I go
lucky.
pick up 2 Bitcoins. Go pick up 3 GPUs. I do it.
I get Wise toothpaste and maybe some caps, bro.
But I've got two things, and it's one for the player-based playstyle, and I'll start with the interchange one. Players always amalgamate to the places and the maps that have the most loot.
Yeah.
And that's where you have the best fights. So back then, interchange was crazy with GPUs and stuff. It was the most popping map. Also, the lighting was a bit better, but we're not going to go into that.
And we had Shooterborn on Insta as well.
Yeah, it was super popping because everybody wanted that loot. Then Reserve became like crazy as well, where you could open marked rooms and find weapon cases and stuff.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
everybody started spamming
And drop it.
reserve. Yeah, and we're having crazy fights around
Rockland
those
was nuts.
around
Give me
those areas and stuff. Then it became customs, where customs dorms marked was insane, and therefore the entire bloody server, even on the SA server for like the first, or actually for most of the wipe, SA customs was the most played map. It was the most
Probably the
populated map.
most. Dorms probably was the most populated area in the game at that point.
Remember when
Yeah.
Marquee used to have 30 charges, guys? Pepperidge Farm.
Yes. And you could
What do
just
you
buy
mean?
them
What do you mean
all the
30
time.
charges? Remember
You
when
can
they
do it
had
now.
no charges, hello?
When they had
Oh,
no
when it was
charges,
just
I
a
was
soulmate,
like, just the key.
Sorry, I didn't find keys back then. I was still ratting on Factory, Crim, to be honest.
Okay.
So the map's player base and the population is all dependent on the loot, I think, and it still is. So that's why you don't find a lot of people in dorms anymore unless they're doing quests and stuff. But you find a lot of people on like Lighthouse and Labs. You
I
know?
want to double up on that, Latch. I really do. I agree with that. And I want to bring it back. Even with SA Wipe Day, honestly, the micromanagement, as I like to call it, with regards to you got to make sure what time you're playing on the server. Is it during a work day, school day?
Mhm.
Are you making sure that unfortunately for SA, regardless of if it's a day wipe day, still comes into play where it doesn't. I don't think it does for you guys on like a Dubai or Singer.
But you can
It's
play-
you can just go.
always
Yeah.
stacked. Where we will get it stacked 6 o'clock onwards in the evening when there's people coming off from work, school, whatever, getting a chance to actually jam the game. We don't have as many people in terms of player base.
Mm-mm.
It's that are free to play. There's a lot of students. There's a lot of people who work full time that are able to play.
But then they
So
don't
in
have power.
now that's where the whole load shedding issue is compounding to the nth degree. On top of the game, like we said earlier, coming back to that fact where how much the game has changed since we started playing. I remember vividly how I remember starting this game. There was a bug in Factory, our only map that we had. In Factory, there was a bug where you would touch a barbed wire and you would instantly back to the lobby.
Yep.
That is when I remember.
Really,
having
I
this.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shit.
100%,
Yeah.
dude.
Barbed wire, even on Inter at the bottom of the escalators, dude.
So you just touch a barbed wire, you dead. Instantly.
Imagine being a noob starting and you're running on customs for dorms, and you know, like the
The
like
ones on the fence, and you hear with your head.
Yes.
Why did I just die? Not once, dude. Not once. Okay, this area. I must remember this area. Okay, I won't go there again. Oh shit, another spot.
They're close to the taxi exit where you run against the wall and it grazes your skull.
Just dude, you have a helmet on. Things cuts.
Doesn't matter.
Ripper
Jesus,
fades.
dude.
Dead.
I remember that.
Yeah. So no, genuinely for me, I find that running during the day, especially on SA servers, I have to either be running the populated servers that are small PvP labs, aka labs and factory, and or customs, which is always popping. For some reason, there's always a customs person. Maybe one, maybe two. But that has drastically fallen off the cliff last month, to the point where I can feel the player base is either on Singer, where everybody is trying to get their kappa and get the quest, which, by the way, doesn't mean shit, okay? Because you lose it anyway, and it, like, I came up with an idea today. It would hit me like a ton of bricks. You know what Taki should do? On your badge, it should give you some sort of a tick. Just a tick on how many kappas you've done. Just even if it's as small as a little noddy badge to say you've done 2-3 kappas. They've taken it away from us. I've done a kappa. Everybody on this podcast has done a kappa. I'm
No, I
sure.
haven't.
Yeah.
Except Wuko. You do a kappa and you
I refuse. Jaeger Quest can die.
You feel so achieved, and they take it away from you without anything. You've worked so fucking hard to try.
That's
Because
why I do it
listen,
early, though.
That's why I
it's
went
a lot of
PvP.
quests,
But that's why I went PvP. After my first like serious
but you
wipe,
still do.
I was like 5 quests
You lose
away,
it, yeah.
and it was
You
on
lose it.
EU, and it was like really tough. I had like an extract of like 40% because I was also playing on LTE. So I would I would just die like 20% of the time to being disconnected in the middle of nowhere. Like, never mind the challenges of learning the hardest FPS game on very populated servers at a very popular time in the game's life cycle. So, yeah, but it was like...
Dude, back to the Kappa thing, though. It all depends. Like for you and myself, Kappa doesn't really mean that much other than bragging rights, right? And to a lot of Gamma container players, maybe. But to a lot of the dudes on standard accounts with that alpha container, that Kappa is freaking amazing. And I played 4 wipes. It was 4. This is my 6th. I played 3 wipes.
It was 3 wipes, yeah.
With that alpha container. And I tell you what, that Kappa was freaking amazing. Okay. Even though I lost it, I went for it again because it was great. Okay. So
yeah, but you had to.
get you.
You had to. It was out of necessity. It wasn't out of preference, you know, or in the case of EOD.
Yeah, no, but you pay for that benefit though. A lot of freaking money.
Yeah, but how much content do you get out of it? Like that's really the thing with Tarkov is like, if you put 500 hours into this game and you're loving it, buy EOD. Stop worrying about it. And
especially with the arena, hey? Especially I wanted to add there,
with arena coming.
Arena.
And we can actually do stuff like that, which I think we should do in the near future. I've kind of discussed the idea with both of you guys, and I think we should be doing that in the near future on a Sunday or something. We'll make a plan and see where we can cross over schedules. But the thing is, the amount of time you put into it versus the money you put into something that's constantly developed. Here is the big plus with Tarkov. There is always going to be more content until the game is finalized. And you are actually buying into that content. That's the thing. And the thing from like Nikita's side is he has a responsibility to make sure the game is playable and it's stable, right? So that we have access to that content. That's what we're ultimately paying for. But he's giving you free content. In WoW and all of these other kind of MMO sort of games, you're paying for that constantly. A subscrition fee, etc. Please, Nikita, don't introduce a subscription fee now. Please.
Yes, please never. But
please,
bro,
please. Well, we'll see. We hope. Thank you, Papa Nikita, for not doing that to us. But you're getting so much content that it really becomes just do it, dude. And here's the thing, and here's why I say it leads me to my burning question, is one of the things I was going to ask is how do we get more players into the game and suggest that they do more specials. They put the game onto, even if they do it the way War Thunder did it initially, where you launch their launcher through Steam, but they need to put the game onto a large distribution platform, and they need to run seasonal specials on it at least 3 times a year. For more than like a day. These day hit and runs are not working. We can't get people into the game in time. We need like 2-3 weeks at a time. So we can be like, hey, dude, look, it's going to be on sale for 3 weeks. Use your payday and buy the game. Do you know what I mean? And get the EOD. And the player base will just expand every single time you do that. The Witcher 3 proved that unequivocally. They didn't even put DRM on their software. They just threw the game out. People downloaded it and played it without paying for it and ended up buying it later anyway because they were appreciative that they could just play the damn game. So we need to create access is really the problem for me with Tarkov right now.
Another reason for the game not really having that many players is due to the actual design of the game. It is a very hardcore game, and it's quite niche in terms of people's likes when it comes to the game and stuff. It used to be a lot more. I feel like the player base has fallen off a lot more with added inertia and stuff, but that goes to the game becoming harder, and it becomes a lot of the things a lot of things are more grindy and stuff compared to what it was before, and it hurt the casual player base a bit more. And I think if Nikita wants to get more players into the game, then he does, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your opinion, he'll have to make the game a bit more casual, and he's currently doing that a bit with the reduced recoil and the changes to the flea markets and the changes to backpack weights and all the things that have come into the game. He's now made a couple of quests easier, particularly Shooterborn, for example. He nerfed that again.
Better XP balance, which Pest actually helped to
better XP balance. You
get
get nothing for
balance.
Shooterborn
Yeah.
in terms of XP, dude. But
honestly, the quest reward should be way better than what it is. I had that thought during this wipe as well again, where I'm like, what are these stupid rewards that we're getting for quests? Some oaks are getting godlike rewards on their dailies and weeklies, but their rewards for their quests are dog shit at best.
On like level 8, you get a daily kill killer 5 times with a bolt action rifle. Like, dude, what? How am I supposed to even do that? I've got Gexa ammo. I'll just keep shooting him in the legs and hope for the best. Like, dude.
I'm a level 32 and I'm trying to level my PMC, and you telling me do a weekly or do a daily for this for the scav that I have to kill 7 PMCs. But I'm busy with PMC runs, and now this thing wants me to go to dailies as a scav.
You like scavving, though, let's be real.
No, I like scavving for loot so that my PMC is not as broke. There's a difference.
Dude, you are so wealthy. If we all open up Tarkov now, your stash is by far the biggest. By far.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, 100%.
How many millions are you on? If you know, tell the truth and shame the devil. You know the number.
With or without the savings account, really?
No, how many? What is your stash worth? Your overall stash value?
I don't know.
It's probably 100, like 30
Probably
million
like 120 million or something.
Yeah, 130 million. He's probably close. I'm on like 44.
Man, stacking up those guns, dude.
Like, I just have cash, dude, and like 10 guns. And then Latches over here, we don't know what's going on with his stash. We don't talk about it.
It's sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. I don't know what's going on. Okay?
It's a Labs
All
PvP
the
stash through and through. And then Crims is just like 12 scav junk boxes with every single item he needs for every single quest.
Perfect
there.
place.
I don't have time, boys.
Plus 27 bitcoins that he found in 5 raids. Okay.
100%
this is
most efficient quest a year, like 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I do
100%.
6 or 7.
Long,
I do
long,
6 or
long.
So
7
the
in
way
one
you
raid.
do 7 in one raid is ridiculous, Grimmy. Like I'm just flabbergasted at how you do these things, sir. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
It's efficiency, man. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's funny because I forget, like, especially like the mid-tier quests, like the 30s to 40s, I forget like most of what I need to do there. And I'm just like, hey, Crim, do I need this? I don't even go to the wiki because he's way faster, way more efficient. So.
Like his brain remembers. Oh yes, you need AB fucking C.
He carries that, and then I carry
And he
him in
has a
factory
notepad.
when he needs bolty kills for his quests. It's a homogenous relationship.
Shoot them in the leg.
Yeah. Magnaberg, boom, he's standing still. Now, Crim quack.
It's the way.
But gentlemen,
boys, I've got 18 minutes. So
yes, I was
if
going to
we,
say,
got
closing
anything
points,
more?
thoughts for this evening. Closing points and thoughts. Mr. Phenom, kick us off.
I'll kick us off. I definitely will agree with you boys. The game has changed drastically since we started playing. And I want to lead that by saying a lot of people, like I can see my chat blowing up as well with it, is I wanted to point out earlier with Latches's pointing out of the game being difficult. Honestly, I feel so many people are trying to log into Tarky and win. People expect that they are going to log in and dominate, and that is not Tarkov. Okay, it's in like I said, the 7,800 plus hours that I have now. I have learned one thing, and that it is the most unforgiving game. That is supposed to be a game in all intents and purposes, should be fun, should be enjoyable, should be something that you can win at. Okay. You can't win at Tarkov. It's impossible. The only time you win in Tarkov is when you've dominated in a raid and got out with it. That's when you win. And that's such a short period of my mind is blown. The euphoria of the dopamine hit is so strong. You're still sitting there shaking because, oh my God, I just killed a 5-man and I made it out.
With all that.
Guess what? You've got to now drop all this shit in your stash and go back in. You get one tap 30 seconds in. what do? Get back on the horse.
GG go next.
And a lot of people just want to, unfortunately, walk in and dominate. And I don't think you can walk in and dominate with Tarkov. And that's why the player base has fallen off. Honestly, that's in my opinion. I'll close
Unless
it
you
off
try.
with
To be fair,
too many
unless you try.
people are not happy with the fact that the game is difficult to play, okay, and that you can't just walk in and win. You've got to either play slow and be a little creep walker to try and get what you want to do, and or not die because you've got your pistol and your little AK-8 what you don't want to lose, or you just play and you go make loot and you just run, get a scav, take his loot, just raid after raid. I don't know. It's not like it shouldn't mean anything, but for me, the raid is what matters. When I die, I'm like, I sometimes give that quick little 5-second vent. Your master, beep. And then I'm like, sweet, lekker, I'm done. Next raid, let's go. So,
yeah.
And
I
then you
think
drum
that's
mag
what
daddy
people-
some fool.
Drum mag daddy, baby.
You are the drum mag daddy.
He really is,
Yeah.
dude. That's no
I
question.
love it.
Man
My
in a
favorite.
drum
So,
mag. To be fair, the
because
only guy
accuracy
I've
by
seen,
volume, boys. Accuracy
only-
by volume.
it is a plan. It's very American of you, but it is a plan. So, to be fair, you do have an American mate you stream with, so it's natural that he would have infected you a little bit with that. So we don't blame you at all, Mr. Fino. Thank you for that. Grim, final thoughts?
I just hope for a good future for it all. Genuinely, if I'm speaking locally, if we can do tournaments, and I wanted to touch on that, like from the start of the podcast, if we can do a tournament to bring in the players that are hungry for the game, and our load shedding looks a little bit better, something that is reoccurring would be lovely to do. Like I've always been one of the guys that like to help the community, like with their kits for their setup. I like helping. I'll help you all with your mics, your audios, your
I'm
PC.
pretty sure you've touched every
A lot.
single one of us.
But I've
You know what I
done
mean?
a lot. I've done a lot
That
of.
sounds
lot
so
of
wrong,
voice.
but carrying on.
Yeah, in not in a physical way.
I've touched a
I
lot
saw
of
the
microphones.
phantom scrim.
There we go. But it's all to, like, I want what you put out there, the streamer, to be the best it can be, so other people can see it and be like, okay, wow, so this is SA. Let me also start. Because the more people we get into it for the vibes that are out there, it's something that can pull them in. So yeah, so my ending points is just like, just hope for a better future, better future for the game, and happy to see what will happen with that journey, and see where it goes from there. So yeah.
I just want to add that, Grim, I mean, for the latest Tarkov Live TV 6-month, 8-month roadmap that they gave us, I want to agree with you there, man. I'm optimistic. I can see a lot of things are going to change, but I think and I hope it is for the better for all of us, so that we can actually enjoy this game more. Yeah.
Mm.
Mr.
My
Lackers,
closing thoughts
take us
on
away.
this game is, even though it is a beta, and even though there are bugs and there are some balancing issues and stuff, I think they've done a ridiculously amount of good work with this game, and it is why we love this game, down to the immersiveness, down to the quality and level of detail of every single thing that they put in this game, down to animations of the guns, the movement, the feel, down to everything. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with this game, and I love it so much that I'm going to stick around no matter what they do. I'm going to see what they do. Sure, it will need balancing. Sure, there'll be ups and downs, but for the most part, I think we all love Tarkov, and we all stay with Tarkov up until Nikita finally says that it's that it's out of beta in a few years, and then we'll play the official one for real and just see what the final product will be. And I want to also point out, there's a lot of stuff going around in terms of how to play the game. A lot of people, criticize others on their play style and stuff. And I just like to say that I know it looks hard. I know the game looks incredibly difficult to play, but there is truly so many different ways that you can play this game. You want to go for PvP, you can go for PvP. You want to be immersive and play slow and scav and avoid, stuff and go for loot. You are more than welcome to do that. You can do whatever you want to do. But a lot of people have this sort of sense around gear fear and stuff in this game. And to all the new players and to all the players out there, that's the more you play the game and the more you engage in PvP and the more you die, the more you realize that gear actually means nothing in the game.
There's always more.
There's always more gear. If you are struggling, Nikita's given you a scav,
Agreed.
I
agree.
You can do so much in the game and it's not the end of the world. And I think a lot of people change their play styles and, do, whether they like hide or, or too scared to make a play or stuff. And just don't worry about it. If you lose, so what? It is just a game in the end of the day. And you can just load back in and carry on, And positivity, folks. There's no need to get riled up and say this game is too hard, because it's not. You just got to learn. You just got to learn the game.
Except when you're on a reaper on an invisible cheetah smashes you in the face like from 3 meters in front of you and you couldn't see them because they were cheating. Okay, that's the only time you're allowed to tilt. That's the only time. There's one window. Every other time you just got to. It is what it is. Especially with the desync. Yeah, look, and the desync. I mean, you know what's happening there. I think what
Biggest
I'm
factor.
surmising. It's where I want to kind of leave it. Is one thing I would like to see kind of improved is the way that the content server is managed, because we constantly have that as kind of an issue where you'll move stuff in your stash and your whole game freezes, or you'll be accessing the traders and they'll just go offline, or they'll just stop responding, it's just disruptive. And that's part of the desync issues. That content server is feeding those live game servers, all of them. So you think about how many live game servers there are across the world, and all of that content has to be hosted on one giant server. Homie needs to include that with his hosting packages and have a Akamai link like with dedicated in-betweeners, because it's really killing. That is one thing that I would like him to fix ASAP. I think it would be a huge quality of life improvement. We won't talk about audio, especially for this episode, because we have now pipped the hour and 15 mark, gentlemen, on the first episode. This is absolutely fantastic. Good podcast. Good amounts of kakprating was had. So I'm very proud of everybody. And we will be back pretty much every 2 weeks, guys. And as there are developments and stuff, we'll talk about those. I think a big topic for next week will be, in general, the PvP around Tarkov and maybe upcoming arena and some of the things that we do have to look forward to. So until then, hope you guys stay safe, keep well, and we will see you on the flip side.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks.
Love you.
Much
all,
love.
dudes.
Much love.
And we're out.